continues to believe that most games are aimed at adolescent toss rags, so it doesn't help that some games most definitely are. The most startling recent example being this astonishing cultural artefact, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, in which the knuckle-headed rapper 50 Cent, or Fiddy as idiots call him, is the hero. It opens with Mr. 50 entertaining the natives of an unnamed Middle Eastern country with a glittering concert where him and his muscly buddies played some records and said some rude words. But oh dear, it turns out the promoter hasn't got the money he owes 50 for the gigs, and a subtle battle of wits soon ensues.
I don't have the money. It was stolen.
What? By who?
Men working for a gangster named Saeed Kamal.
Waste this fucker.
Fortunately, the promoter does have a Damien Hirst-inspired bling-encrusted skull, which he gives 50 by way of payment.
Damn, look at that ice, man.
The skull is priceless.
You lucky motherfucker. Okay, let's roll.
You know, surprisingly, this was scripted by Alan Bennett.
Before long, 50 and his friends do indeed roll, but soon they run into a terrifying ambush, during which 50's skull is stolen by a hot Arabic Lara Croft type.
And thus the stage is set, and we, the viewer, become the participant as we take on the role of Mr. 50 Cent.
Where'd she go? That bitch took my skull.
Yeah, where'd she go, that bitch that took my skull? That's the entire storyline. That bitch took my skull. Let's find her.
Oh shit, ambush! Bring it on, motherfuckers!
Anyway, it turns out 50 won't be able to find the bitch that took his skull without shooting 50 million people in the face. The game itself has a third-person viewpoint, which means you're constantly trailing just behind 50 Cent, which means you'd be constantly breathing in his farts. If you squeeze the left trigger, the camera zooms in closer so you can shoot people more accurately. Of course, in real life, the only time you'd find yourself staring at the back of 50 Cent's head this long is if you were sodomising him in a prison cell, which he'd enjoy. Yeah, that's right, Fiddy. You'd enjoy it. What are you going to do? Come and get me, you pussy. Just to liven things up, each time you shoot someone, a little kill timer appears at the top of the screen. It starts counting down, so if you kill someone else before it runs out, you get some bonus points. It's a stark comment on the disposable nature of human life in our commodity-obsessed culture. Refreshing stuff, maybe, yes, but politically this game is rather more naive than Noam Chomsky Blood on the Sand, which came out last year in my imagination. Along the way, there are plenty of atrocious cutscenes detailing a story that's impossible to care about, during which 50 Cent scowls a lot and generally behaves like a prick.
Where's your boss, bitch?
Oh, what a massive arsehole. The game's so desperate to appear grown up, it ends up looking downright ridiculous, like an adolescent straining to grow a whispery little moustache and bragging about how many girls he's fingered. And 50's such an unsympathetic character, such an almighty dick, I don't actually want him to survive any of the firefights. In fact, I keep making him deliberately run into the scenery in the hope he'll snag his balls on the edge of a table or something. Go on, you tit. It's charmless, that's the main problem, and games never used to be short of charm. Here's Rab and Ryan of Consulvania with a look back at some warmer times.
Retro is not what you think retro is, right? I bet you elsewhere on this show, right, in other parts of this show, people are going to embarrass themselves by mentioning...
them as well.
I'm attacking everybody, right? People are going to embarrass themselves by mentioning Mario and Zelda. That's not our past. That's not our past. We had a Mario, the Great Guiana Sisters. That was our Mario, a rip-off of Mario. That was it, and it was better than Mario. The real British retro was all about innocence. It was all about guys who didn't do it for money. You've got to remember that these, in America, it was big corporations. In Japan, big corporations churning out these games. And in Britain, just hobbyists, just guys up in their bedroom. The real British retro is about games like Hover Bother. In Hover Bother, you were a middle-aged man, right?
No, a middle-aged man who just happened to be a spy or a superhero. Just a middle-aged man.
Just a middle-aged man who had to mow his garden, right? So you would go and get a lawnmower and mow your garden. That's what the game was, moving back and forth, just trying to mow strips of lawn, but you'd borrowed somebody's lawnmower, so your neighbour was coming to get his lawnmower back, right? So you had to avoid him, and you had to avoid an annoying dog as well.
Tell you, my heart's racing. For some reason, they had a thing about eggs in the 80s. The amount of Spectrum games I played that had eggs, or were about eggs, or you were collecting eggs.
Why did we bother with these games? Jet Set Willy's the kind of game that would only be made in Britain. It was about a guy who was cutting about inside his house, trying to avoid his wife. And the great thing about Jet Set Willy was you couldn't complete it. It was broke. You couldn't complete it, you couldn't finish it. And that's what I love. That's what's more British than somebody making a game and getting to a point in it and going, nobody's going to get this far anyway, fuck it.
Or you would have a game like Penetrator, which was a shoot 'em up, and you completed it. You mastered that art of mapping the trajectory of the bomb so that you became a master of bombing things, which was crucial to finish the game. You'd get to the end level, you'd bomb that big supply of explosives, you go, magic, you get a fireworks display at the end of the game, go, done it, finally done it, completed it, and then it goes, right, now play the levels backwards.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
And you go, aye, all right then. Right, fine, aye, right, I'll do it backwards, and then you play it backwards, and it goes, now play it forwards again.
Brilliant.
And then it never ends. It never ends. Backwards, forwards, forever.
That was the beauty of retro. The charm of retro was that sound, the surreal element of it. A game I loved was Marble Madness that had this beautiful kind of plinky-plonky kind of crystal sound. It sounded kind of like a chandelier slowly falling down the stairs. You would roll a wee ball about this map. Beautiful, beautiful kind of wee worlds that you would step into, and they're all in your memory. They're in wee spaces in your memory, all these beautiful places. And now, games like Gears of War and all these kind of things, they all look as if they're set in the same place, this browny, greeny, muddy, real-looking place. There's nowhere special for them to go. There's no specialness about that. Games are shite.
Casual games, video games aimed at novice players, often scarcely considered traditional games at all.
Right now, casual games are probably the most rapidly expanding sector of the gaming market, and it's largely thanks to little magi sticks like these. Ooh.